This video is regarding the request fulfillment workflow. The workflow itself is very simple. It's all about handling all the standard services that you might provide to your end users or your requesters. There are 3.5 roles in this workflow. There's the single point of contact, the second level support, and in some rare cases the management. And the half role is the requester himself or herself who will actually request the service. Let's see how this works in reality. I will take you through the entire workflow as this is very small. Let's say that I am the requester and I wish to select the request fulfillment workflow. I have a lot to choose between, but here it is, request fulfillment sample. Let's just press new. And to get on with it, I just need to enter subject and description. And I want access to DevOps. And maybe even a project. That is sufficient. I am now allowed to press submit, and I will hand over my request to the single point of contact. As you can see, the stage is now from the requester's point of view orange, and the requester is not allowed to do anything about this request at the time being. But that means that the single point of contact has now retrieved this new request, and as there is a blue pencil here, the single point of contact is allowed to edit this particular request. Now we are in the stage called pre-qualify, which just means that the single point of contact will consider whether this request is outside or inside the service scope of the organization. But as it is within the service scope, we will just choose a service, identity and access management for instance, and press save. If this request were outside the service scope, I would be allowed now to press this button and hand over the request to my manager, who then would consider whether this request should be something new, which we should include in our service catalog or not. But as I think this is inside our existing service catalog, I will just proceed to process the actual request. I'm still the single point of contact. I own the next stage as well, but it's now orange because I need to do something before I may proceed. And what is that? That is to write something here in update, and I realize that I have not access to the DevOps. So I will ask for help. Press save. And as you can see, now it's possible for me to hand over this particular request for further processing to the second level support. So why not do that? So let's jump over to be the second level support. Let's just wait once more. Here it is. Access to DevOps. I will now jump into this request. And all I have to do is to perform the request or the service as it is described somewhere I might write a solution, but I can also just give the access and say it's solved. We press save. And now I'm allowed to close this request as we have fulfilled what was the initial request from the requester or the end user. So why not just do that? Done and closing. The requester will be notified about this request being done. But if the requester is not satisfied, the end user or the requester is able to reopen this request if that was necessary. But otherwise, it's now done, and we are closing it. And we might, if we are 100% sure that the requester is satisfied, we can press finalized, and then the request is really finalized and cannot be reopened. So let's just hope that the requester is all happy. And this was how the request fulfillment workflow was working according to this particular description.